Hey everyone, welcome for another episode in Adventures of Comprehension. Super excited about tonight, and I say that every week because I'm always excited to be here with you guys. So, funny story to today, I woke up and was doing my hair because I knew that today was a going live day, and in the middle of doing my hair, my blow dryer broke. And it's not just a typical blow dryer, it's one of those blow dryers that has the brush on it. So like you brush your hair while you blow dry it, and it does the job of blow drying and straightening all at once, right? So because it broke, I was not able to finish my hair. So literally one side of my hair was all straight and the other side was completely wet. And so then as my hair dried, it was like poof central on one side and completely straight on the other. So I'm just telling you this story because one, we're all having crazy times right now. So I know we all need a good laugh. And I should have just left it. And that way you guys really could have laughed with me. But as I started making the video, I was like, I can't do this. I don't think I can actually go live with straight hair on one side and poofy hair on the other. So that's why you're getting this look today. You're getting like the poof on one side here. Like, it's been one of those days. And I know you all can relate. We are all experiencing that right now. So just know that you are not alone, that we are all here with you. And, you know, you always can reach out if you need anything, if you're experiencing those days. Give me a thumbs up or a heart right now because, man, whew, we will get through this, right? We will get through this. Anyways, that's my crazy story from the day. But my name is Sierra Harris. I am the author over at Sierra Harris Teaching, and I come to you live every week to chat all about reading comprehension. So tonight we're going to be talking about why we should teach reading strategies. I have 6 different reasons that I want to chat with you about today. It should be a very straightforward, very simple Facebook Live. Feel free to take notes if you want. I do have this in blog post form. So if you want the link to the blog post, all you have to do is ask below and say, Sierra, send me the blog post link and I will get that right over to you. If you haven't done so already, make sure you comment below and let me know that you're here listening. Let me know where you're from, what grade you teach, and let me know what you think. Are reading strategies important and why? I would love to know. I know many of you have watched other Facebook Lives that I have done all about reading strategies. So you probably know that I'm a huge proponent of those, and you probably have done some work and seen some of the like aha moments in your own students when you focus on strategies, right? So tonight we're going to narrow it down to 6 important reasons why we should be teaching reading strategies. So are you ready to jump in? All right. So here we go, friends. Number 1. All right. So reading strategies, why should we teach them? First, reading strategies show us the reading process. All right. If you think about reading, if you think about true reading yourself as an adult, we know that reading is a very closed off process. We typically are reading in our brains, in our minds, right? It's silent reading. There's no dialogue to comprehend. The dialogue actually takes place in our minds. We read, we decode, we think, we analyze, we do all of these things without others hearing them or listening. So why do we need to know this? Why is this important? Well, when we're teaching early readers or even established readers, it's important for them to see and hear exactly what's going on in our brains. They need to see and hear the reading process for themselves. Otherwise, they're not going to pick up on what the process actually looks, feels, and sounds like. They need to see it for themselves. So that's one of the reasons why it is so important to model when you're teaching. So where does strategies come into play here? Strategies actually help readers see the process of reading. Strategies such as visualization, making connections, asking questions, and metacognition, there are obviously a few others, but they help show the reader that it's not all about reading the words. that it's about thinking about the text itself, right? So when teachers merge modeling out loud with strategies, their students are actually getting a glimpse of the true reading process. So that is like the number one thing we all need to walk away with is, if we, even teaching virtually or face to face, it does not matter. We need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to model our thinking for our students, and then in that modeling, we are incorporating reading strategies to show that process, right? So that's reason number one, is that strategies help show the reading process. I am going to back up a bit, and I sincerely apologize. I should have said this before. If you are unsure of, one, what the reading strategies are, and two, how they are different from skills, drop me a comment below and let me know that you would like either the blog post or the video, because I've got one of both, on reading skills versus reading strategies. They are very, very, very different things. And it's really important for us to know the difference between skills and strategies. That way we can address this in our instruction. And if we don't know the difference, if you are unsure of the difference, definitely grab one of those links. Just ask me below and I will get those to you. And that way you can watch either another quick video or do a quick read on my blog to find out. So whichever you would prefer, and it's the same information, so you don't need both. So let me know which one you would prefer, and I will get that right over to you, okay? Awesome. Sorry, I meant to say that before I went into number one, and I completely spaced it. So, oh well, it is what it is. All right, so number one, again, was showing that strategies help show the reading process, right? Because it's such a closed-off process, we really need to make sure that we're making it a very open process for students, and strategies are a great way to do that. All right, number two. Strategies help make connections to other skills. This one is so important, right? We know that reading strategies are fantastic. They teach the reader how to think, right? We know this. But what's even better is once the students understand how to use the strategies, then they can help use those strategies and connect them to other skills. For example, students can see the connection between visualizing and identifying the setting, right? If I'm able to visualize the story, I'm better able to identify the setting or multiple settings in the text. So I can determine if one setting is more important than the other because I've seen that visualization happen in my mind. Another way or another example is determining importance and how it relates to main idea. Those two go hand in hand. So students can use the strategies that we are teaching them to then help increase their understanding and application of the different reading skills. So instead of teaching the skills and strategies in isolation, once we have a strong foundation, then we can start merging these together and like really formatting everything. If you are a member of my Building Comprehension course, then you have my reading strategy guidebook. Inside that guidebook is a one-page document that has all of the skills on the top and the strategies on the side, or vice versa, I can't remember. But what it is, it's a matrix that shows which skills and which strategies are connected to one another. So that way you can see which ones really help support each other. It's a great one-pager to have in your lesson plan binder. That way you know, once you kind of get that foundation going, you know that, hey, I can teach or I can touch on visualization while I'm also teaching this. Or I can use this strategy to help them understand this better. So you can see the connection a lot better to help kind of kill two birds with one stone. All right? So again, number two is that strategies help make connections to other skills. All right, so we are ready for number three. Number three on why we should be teaching reading strategies is that strategies show active reading, right? This is so important. The one thing that I say to teachers when they come knock on my door or they send me an email and they're like, I have so many students who just don't comprehend. They're just not remembering what they're reading. My one question or statement back to them is always, are they actively reading? Are they being active readers while reading? The answer is most likely not, right? They're just reading the words. They're not involved in that process at all. So what does that mean? It means that they're not using reading strategies. So readers or active readers, what do they do? What is an active reader? An active reader is a reader who is thinking while reading. They're analyzing while reading. They ask questions. They visualize. They determine importance. They monitor their own understanding. That's called metacognition, right? They monitor their own understanding. They know when they need to reread because they didn't understand it, or they need to stop and find context clues for a word because they don't know the definition, or that they need to read slower because this part's a little confusing. They know because they're actively comprehending. So what I just said there is that they're using strategies. Reading strategies promote active readers. So again, if you go back to those students who just are not being the great comprehension readers that you know that they can be, they're being passive readers. They're reading, but they're not actively, or they're not being active within that text. So we need to consistently remind our students and focus on strategies to help continue that active reader that we want them to be. All right. So again, number 3 is that strategies show active reading. Right? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments. All right, we are on number 4, and like I said, tonight's going to be very straightforward, so I'm just going to kind of breeze through these. That way we can be in and out. I don't want to take a lot of your time tonight because I know we're all so busy. So we are ready for reason number 4 of why we should teach reading strategies. So number 4 is that strategies include the reader. And this one is so important. And it's not just important for us to know, it's important for the students to know. I know that when we teach about, what reading is and why we need to read, we talk about the author and we talk about these great texts that they've written, and how they can open our minds and our worlds and our possibilities. But we also need to make sure that we're explaining to students that reading is not all about the author. Reading is about me. Reading is about us and what we bring to the story. So that is one of the most important things that we can explain to our students. That every reader brings him or herself to the text. And then we create this give and take relationship. And I'm going to come back to that one in a minute. But a reader's experience from a text changes from reader to reader based on the experiences. So what I've experienced in my life directly impacts how I take away, or what I take away, or how I reflect upon a text that I've read. And so my takeaways from a story are going to be very different from someone who sits right next to me, reads the same text, but they've had different life experiences. So what I take away from the story is going to be completely different from what you might take away from the story. So again, how are strategies connected to this? Well, strategies allow and almost even force the reader to use themselves while reading, right? If you think about all the strategies that we have talked about, every single one of them include the reader, what they bring, their schema. When we visualize, yes, we are using clues from the text. That is important. But our schema and our experiences impact how and what we visualize, right? Asking questions. What I understand and what I do not understand. What I find confusing and what I'm interested in and what I think is important is all directly impacted on my own schema. I could also talk about making connections. Clearly, making connections is all about me. It's about making connections with me. What I connect to the text, what I can connect to the world, which would be technically from my schema, because if I haven't experienced it in the world, I can't connect to it, right? Text to text connections. Yes, it's a text to text connection, but if I haven't read it and it's not in my schema, then I can't make that text to text connection. So strategies are all about the reader. So if we can teach our students that we all, regardless of if you're a striving reader or a thriving reader, that we all bring value to that text, we all bring something, then we can shatter our students' minds and let them know and see that they are so important to understanding that text. So it brings the reader to the forefront just as much as it brings the author. So it includes the reader. I just feel like a mic drop right there, right? All right, we are ready for number 5. Reason number 5 of why you should teach reading strategies. This is one that I mentioned just so slightly a minute ago, is that reading strategies provide the give and take. So what I mean by that is reading is not a one-sided conversation, right? We talked about how the author has this great text. They've written this amazing story for us, but the reader brings so much to that text as well. It's not just about what the author wrote, it's about what the reader takes away from it. So reading is a give and take relationship between the author. I get distracted by animals outside my windows. If you always see me like looking over here, it's because there's like a bird or a squirrel or something weird like that. So, anyways, reading is a give and take relationship between the author and the reader. So, how can we teach this to students? We teach them to use strategies, right? Oh, it's like it all comes back to strategies. So, strategies show the give part to the give and take. I'm taking what the author has given me and I am giving back based on what I visualize, what I determine to be important, the connections that I make, etc. So by teaching strategies, we're showing our students that both voices are important, theirs and the author's. So important for students to know. All right, and we are ready for our very last one. Number 6 on why we should be teaching reading strategies is that strategies are during and skills are after. I mentioned earlier that if you are unfamiliar with the difference between reading skills and reading strategies, make sure you comment below and let me know. Sorry about that. Let me know that you would like either the blog post or the video on that information, and I can pop that over right to you, okay? So, number 6 is that strategies are during and skills are after. So, what do I mean by that? Well, we want our students to be thinking while they read, right? While they read, they aren't thinking necessarily about main idea and details or cause and effect. Reading skills are aftermath thinking. They think about that stuff afterwards. Unless, of course, you're being very intentional and you've given them a true purpose in a very short text and you're saying, read this for the main idea, right? But natural reading, we don't think about those things while we read. However, strategies do happen while we read, right? While I read, I visualize. While I read, I ask questions. While I read, I use my metacognition. Those things are happening while I read. So if we want students to become that active reader, like we talked about, then strategies are the key because they help promote the thinking while I'm reading rather than after I'm reading. So what do you think? Do you think there's a place in our reading instruction for strategies? Have I convinced you yet? I really hope so. If you would like more information on reading strategies, drop me a comment below and I will provide you with any other links for videos or blog posts that I have. Like I said, I already mentioned the one where we talk about the difference between reading skills and strategies, but I think I may have a few others out there, so let me know if you would like those. And tonight, if you could, let me know which tip tonight was more compelling for you. You know, what was your biggest aha moment out of the 6 different tips, or they weren't technically tips, 6 different reasons, I should say. Which one was most compelling to you? Which one convinced you to come to the light side of reading, meaning I'm going to focus on strategies this year, right? So, and these are really important to know now because strategies are what we should be teaching at the beginning of the year. Strategies should be our focus right? We need to make sure that our students have a strong foundation of all of these strategies. Even if you teach fourth, fifth, sixth grade, it does not matter. Do not assume that our kids can do this, because that is the key to probably 90% of our students' comprehension deficiencies is reading strategies. Now, I do know that obviously there are some outliers to that, and that is why I said 90%, but I promise you, this is going to be the key to a lot of your students' inabilities to comprehend what they are reading. So if you have any questions, let me know below. If you have any comments, let me know below. But I'd love to know which one through 6 that we talked about tonight, was the most compelling for you. Let me know that. And I will see you all next week. So thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Thank you for listening to my hair story and my squirrels that are outside. I always try to keep this as real as possible, so you get me in all of its glory. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you all next week. All right? All right. Thanks, friends. Bye.